Hello, and welcome to The Road to Belonging. Join us as we celebrate the human spirit, creativity, and the boundless possibilities that unfold when we come together. I'm your host, Taylor Ebbs, and we have a fantastic lineup in store for you today. Beginning with three prominent figures of the LGBTQ community who are here to share their insights, experiences, and maybe even a few surprises. Sit back, relax, and prepare to be dazzled by the extraordinary talent that graces our stage. So without further ado, let the show begin.
Hello, you beautiful beings. My name is Noe. I use he and her, and I'll be your host for Transcending, giving you a peek into the lives and struggles of trans and gender diverse individuals. I'm here in the studio with three amazing and wonderful guests. Would the three of you mind saying your pronouns, a little bit about yourself, and your respective identities?
Hi, I'm Bunny Savage Van Cartier. I use they, them pronouns. I've been doing drag for about 6 or 7 years. I think it's 7 years now. I run a drag show called Electric Aura that pretty much pulls in burlesque drag and then also pulls in draglesque because you can mix the two. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
My name is Mars Morningstar. I have been performing pretty much my whole life. I feel like the transition from being a nerdy theater kid to like really expressing myself in my gender identity, it was an easy transition for me, pretty much. I don't know if I said my pronouns. I use all pronouns.
My name is MX Jeremy Lynn Motley. My pronouns are they, she, and he. Everybody can just call me Jay, though. It's much easier, just Jay. I am an AMAB gender. I genuinely can't take the time to care about gender anymore person. I usually say gender queer or gender neutral, gender non-conforming. I was assigned male at birth. I do present male, just to grab onto some of that male privilege and run with it. Gets me a little bit further, gets me into some doors I wouldn't get into presenting how I'm comfortable. I'll have to be comfortable at work. I have to fight for people at work. That's me.
What is the one most common thing you hear about your identities?
It's kind of like one of those things where I don't feel like one, so I'm not one. But like I give people the benefit of the doubt. It's just like, hey, like correction is like I'm actually trans non-binary. I use they them, and they'll like kind of like trip up just a little bit, but they'll just be like, okay, well. They'll correct themselves after a while. And then obviously because I'm in this, I am Mexican American. They make us white conflicted too. So they make us in different colors. So a lot of the times they're like, oh, white woman. I'm like, no, this is not a jump scare, chill out. So yeah, I mean, it's a common misconception.
My common misconceptions are also very similar to Bunny's. People look at me and they're like, oh, that's a girl. And I'm like, yes and no. Yeah, on the weekends sometimes. But I don't necessarily look at myself and think, oh, I'm a guy, oh, I'm a girl, oh, I'm neither. I just kind of am.
People think that because I'm in my 40s that I have it figured out. So they think that this is something that I've worked on for decades and I just know it. And no, it's not. And it's not set in stone. That's the biggest misconception, is that I have it figured out.
So how do you think the LGBT community has changed within the past decade?
Dude, I've been in the community since we were still in the AIDS epidemic, full on. I was working as a pharmacy technician, and I worked part of my time as an HIV resource pharmacy technician. And I remember having to start reading the obituaries to find out which of my patients died that day. I was also around when it was still illegal to be gay in Texas. Anti-sodomy laws were still on the books, and I remember when they were shut down and I had to explain it. The people at work were like, so you can be gay now? And I had to explain, I mean, I could always be gay, but now if the police come into my home, I can't be arrested for it. We're not done fighting. but I'm too tired to fight now. So it's fun to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's up to us.
Yeah, it's fun to sit back and watch y'all and coach y'all, that sort of thing. The community is very the same. There's more of it. It's nice.
Bunny, I love the folkloric outfit.
Thank you.
So, do you feel a connection between your cultural identity and your gender identity?
I feel like it's very connected because there was, I think I was like scrolling on Facebook, but it's really cool to see a lesbian wedding in Mexico because for a while that wasn't accepted. And I mean, now we're dealing with more talks of being queer, being proud of what we are, and just because Mexicans are very proud of like just put it out there, it's just nice. But having to intertwine the two, it's refreshing for me.
So Mars, you've been on testosterone for 1.5 years now. If you're comfortable with, tell me what's your routine taking tea and sort of the changes you've gone undergo throughout your time.
Those around me were telling me, oh yeah, like your voice is changing a lot, your body is changing, but I didn't really notice it. Until about like a month ago, it's made me feel a lot more comfortable in my identity because I feel like I've always wanted to look a little bit like more androgynous, leaning more towards the androgyny vibes, and I feel like I've pretty much hit my goal.
Have you or someone you've known have not been taken seriously before because of their identity?
So you want to go first? You want to go first?
I mean, like, do we have time? The answer is literally everyone in the LGBTQI plus community at some point has had to experience that. Should it happen? No. I don't know how to fix it. That is a systemic issue. That is a cultural issue. That's the part of the root of the problem in the first place. Should we fight against it? Yes. Is it ever going to get better? Probably not. Can you live with it? I'd rather live with that than, me and my friends have literally been assaulted in, just for existing out in the world.
There's been times where I've been followed to the garage. There's been times where I've woke up to a call from my friends like, hey, like, well, this friend just got stabbed. His face was almost mutilated just for being himself. It's hard. It's really, really hard. But I feel like as a community, if we stand with each other, I feel like that can easily change. Well, not easily change, but like change enough to the point where we're safe again. And I just really need people to like get on their stuff, So, but I don't think it's gonna change for a while. But we're making progress with the protest. I feel like we're making progress now with even like stuff like this, like with people just hearing our voices, hearing not only trans Black people's voices, hearing just in general trans people of color voices, but also people who are in the community a lot, and showcasing that. I feel like it's helping a little bit.
When I like tell people, oh yeah, I'm a trans mask person, they're like, oh, so why do you like still do girly stuff? Why do you still dress up in drag and stuff? And I'm like, drag doesn't have, obviously drag is part of who I am, but drag isn't my gender identity. It's what I do, it's my art form, it's what I do to make money, it's not the same thing. And I feel like I've had to explain that to a lot of people, and it does get a bit tiring at some points, but I feel like I would rather have people like understand kind of where I'm coming from in my point of view of things rather than them just stay ignorant.
What is one thing you would tell someone who is questioning their identity?
If you're questioning who you are, look into different resources, ask people who you know have like the identity that you think you might be, ask like their experiences, see if you have any like similar ones, because that's what I did. That's how I ended up on my long journey of self-discovery.
Some people can get it on the first try, some people can't get it on the first try. I definitely didn't get on the first try because one time I was like, okay, well maybe I'm more of I'm a trans masculine person. Like, no, that doesn't feel right. Okay.
It's okay to not have the answer.
Yes.
Sometimes the answer is I don't know. Sometimes the answer is not today. Sometimes the answer is yes today and no tomorrow. The question is the important bit, not necessarily the answer. If that's not the moral of my year,
Yes.
embrace the uncertain and just be okay with the question.
All right. That's all the time we have for now. Thank you all so much for being here and sharing your stories and experiences with us and help transcend the preconceived notions others may have about us. Until next time, I'm Noe Villanueva. Thank you for watching The Road to Belonging.
Marbles in my mouth. Every time I speak, trip on a syllable that I perfected last days. Don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him. Feel my insides cave. Think I kinda like it that way. No one is good. No one needs to. But I feel as bad as I do. It's kind of ironic. How the timing lines up. I think I've seen this before, but I know that you have not. Please avert your eyes. In a few days I'll be fine, but I think I need to toe that line. Don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him. Don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him. Don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him. Don't tell him, don't tell him, don't tell him.
And that was Lowly Lilac with her song, Marbles in My Mouth. Next up, we're stepping out of the studio and venturing into the heart of downtown San Antonio with Noe Villanueva as he takes us on a tour of the historic Bonham Exchange and a sit-down interview with Joan Duckworth, a member of the Happy Foundation, followed by an inside look at the Texas GSA network right here at SAC with Kai Carrasco. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single moment of this eye-opening journey right here on the road to belonging.
My name is Joan Duckworth, and I am one of the owners of the Bonham Exchange in San Antonio, Texas. I am the protector of the Happy Foundation since Jean has passed away. I helped helped him whenever he needed help with this, but he was pretty self-sufficient. He would clip articles and write to publications all over the U.S., and he would save them and document them for the history. My position now is I'm the caretaker of the history.
Gene Elder, the archives director for the Happy Foundation, early Saturday morning that he was in favor of crucifying extremist Christian fundamentalists. You know how that lesbian love is? Once you get it on, you can't get it off. Period.
Well, Arthur Veltman was, Arthur Veltman was the creator of the Riverwalk. He renovated the St. Mary's Strip to become what it is today. He was a big mover and shaker. He helped with develop the Blue Star Art Complex, the San Antonio Country, and the Bonham Exchange, where we are today. He was a visionary and had a view of life that we all should have. He's a great guy. Well, the archive was curated by Gene Elder. He has been collecting gay memorabilia for 30 years. He's documented the progress of the gay community as well as court cases. And in general, he knew that the history of the gay community and the progress of it was important to all of us for historical benefits for all, not just for us, but for the generations to come. I love the Rainbow Crosswalk because that shows San Antonio does support our community. And the fact that we can have a cluster of bars in an area where people feel safe to be themselves is progress for all of us. When I was a teenager, people were hiding who they were. Now they're out loud and proud, which is wonderful. What's good for them is good for all of us.
We just got an interview with Gene Elder, done by Melissa Golke. If I saw the date right, this was from 2011.
But there wasn't a whole lot going on. As a matter of fact, we weren't even aware of Stonewall at the time. I certainly wasn't. Now, maybe Happy was, but we never ever talked about it. I mean, San Antonio was isolated. You know, we were doing this kind of on our own. I think we had more encouragement from maybe our friends that had been going to San Francisco more than we were aware of New York.
Yes, Gene would know. Gene is the one who would document the history and stuff. We were aware of it, but you know, it's just something that happened up in New York, and you know, many of my friends were still in the closet. They didn't tell their family that they were gay because they wouldn't get invited to Thanksgiving dinner. And in general, what happened in Stonewall helped all of us. It became a good reason for everybody to stand up and say who they are, because we should all be able to love who we want. You know, that's a basic right we all have. You should never take your freedom for granted. People fought for your ability to stand up and be who you are and love who you want. And it can go away again. You have to always vote, be proactive, and keep it going in the positive direction for the next generation. We did it for you guys, and you're going to have to do it for the next generation. Do not take your freedom for granted ever.
I'm here at the SAC Gender and Sexuality Alliance office, just seeing what it's like for those who are in the LGBT community on campus.
I've been here since 2018, and during that semester I got first involved in this project for what was known back then as LGBTQ plus Heritage Month. And we were doing some oral history projects, and the students were actually curating an exhibit on the history of queer activism and interesting figures. And so we had a selection of posters that were already around, and then the students decided to do their own queer history posters. and came up with their own. So I started to get involved in organizing around this on campus with that project, like in my first couple of semesters here. And then very soon after that, some students who were involved in that program were talking about, hey, I heard we used to have like an LGBTQ plus group on campus, but what happened to it? And the nature of student clubs at SAC is, thankfully many of them are so successful and leave quickly because they transfer on. And so there had been a club called Gala that had been very active for decades even, but it was kind of on and off. And so this student group kind of resurrected this club and renamed it to the Gender and Sexuality Alliance in 2019. And they asked me and another professor, Dr. Amelia Serafine, to be involved in organizing and helping them organize this club and to be their advisors. So that's how I've been involved in this club since 2019. In the state of Texas, there's a law called SB 17, which has been passed, which really limits diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so this is something that we still don't have official guidance on within our college's district even, not just at SAC. How do we interpret this new law, which is extremely broad and extremely specific? And what kinds of programming is now going to be deemed to be illegal, And this law also has some pretty scary ways in which, if you are deemed to have been going counter to this law, there are different kinds of ramifications, like people could lose their jobs.
Safety and anonymity are the direct ones that affect everybody within GSA. Especially when it comes to the environment that other people create outside of GSA, has been an issue for a lot of people kind of feeling safe and being able to have discussions where we're supported by other people outside of the officers and advisors within GSA. Another thing that has really changed within our group is the kind of ideas and the mission of our movement has really reformatted based on multiple different students just putting in their input. We've made our entire space completely wheelchair accessible, where before our room was not wheelchair accessible. We've completely opened the conversation about different groups, disabilities, and other things like that, and have moved just beyond the LGBTQ community, but into other marginalized communities and holding their hands.
Is to not only make this room a safe space, our goal is GSA is to have this room as our home of safe space, but to make the campus as a whole a safe space for all students. It shouldn't just be confined to a room to be shoved in a closet, hidden up here. It should be something that's spread out. We should feel safe to be outside these doors. We should be safe to be ourselves in campus, in our classrooms, to express ourselves to the fullest and be out and be community members.
With current prices nowadays, it can be hard for students like you and me to afford almost anything. Aw, poor Amethyst. Oh look, it's Kai. Maybe they'll tell Amethyst about the Advocacy Center.
What's wrong?
I'm hungry and I don't have any money.
Have you heard of the Advocacy Center?
No?
The Student Advocacy Center offers grab-and-go drinks and snacks to students on a daily. And all you need is your banner ID.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check it out right now.
Free food and all you need is your banner ID? Don't go hungry. Go to the Advocacy Center.
And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, a performance that is sure to leave you wanting more. Get ready to experience the magic as we welcome the incredible Lowly Lilac.
Hello, I am Lully Lilac. I am a producer, a visual artist, and a singer-songwriter. My creative process is all over the place because I am all over the place. I sometimes don't make music for months. Sometimes I make music like every single day for a couple weeks. My studio art and my music definitely feel like different sides of my brain. Like one side is all for music, it's all about producing and singing and writing the right lyrics, and then the other side is about painting and drawing and photography. And they don't typically overlap, but there is ways that my visual art influences my music because I have to do a lot of visuals for all of my Lully Lilac projects. So a lot of the visuals that I do on my personal project will like seep into the Lully Lilac stuff. It's a complicated question. I think a lot of fields are male dominated, so I think that can go for like a lot of people. For me, like I'm not concerned with trying to prove myself as being better or as being valid because I know that I am. So I just try to believe in myself and work with people that I know I trust.
10. I will leave to 10. No, I will make it out of 210. Big picture drop, zoom lens. Went through hell at least to make new friends. Honestly, I made amends, cause honestly, I made a mess. I recognize I'm cognizant. The flip side, on the opposite. I wanna grow, I know better now. Fertilize and get off the ground. Get off the ground. Get off the ground. Get off the ground.
And that brings us to the end of an unforgettable episode of The Road to Belonging. But before we say our goodbyes, I want to thank our crew members behind the scenes, whose hard work and dedication made all of this possible. And of course, thank you to our guests who shared their stories and talent. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and we'll see you again down the road to belonging.